jazzing up your day with a touch of soul. The Living Room on 938 Live.
Welcome into the Living Room on 938 Live, and Asylum Theatre presents Holiday in My Head. Not anywhere else, just in the head. Shows a collection of 8 whimsical short plays performed with an ensemble cast of 6 actors, which means they're doubling up, they're being whipped by their director into shape, torturing them a wee bit. With us today is director and playwright Dean Lundquist, performers Tim Gardner, and also Z Wong. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Sometimes a bit rough to get yourself out of bed, I assume. Or are you early risers?
I certainly am not. And,
Okay.
and many of my friends
We can attest to that.
Oh dear. So I think the first question would have to be Asylum Theatre. That's a interesting name, because I was thinking about how stars and big directors have these production firms that seem to have kind of cool names, like Ridley Scott's is Scott Free Productions,
Right.
you know, Tyra Banks is Bankable Productions. So I was thinking, since your name is Lundqvist, I tried to be a bit clever. Why not Ventriloquist?
Oh, that's good.
Productions? Eh?
I have to write that down. I'm
Or
gonna use
Dean
that
of the
somewhere.
School Production.
Oh, yeah, that's good
Kind
too.
of.
Man, I should put you on the payroll.
You think? I'd love it. But Asylum Theatre, that's grabbing too. That grabs
Yeah.
attention.
Well, I think, I'm a theater nut, and as I think everyone in the show is. So, an asylum's supposed to be a safe place, so safe place for
Really?
theater nuts. Yeah. That's how it came about.
Yeah, because as soon as someone says asylum, they think, oh, the nutcases are in the
that's
nut
right,
house. Okay, that's clever, that's
We're
clever.
totally committed.
Hence,
always.
Holiday in My Head only and nowhere else.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah? Tell us a bit more about it.
Holiday in My Head. Well, they're a collection of 8 stories, all of them that have something to do with Christmas. Or
We don't have to look for that something to do
no,
with
you
Christmas,
can-
do we?
Yeah,
It's kinda-
some of them it's subtle, and some of them sort of hit you over the head. So they're all 8 different plays. I didn't write them to be performed at the same time. That I wrote them over a series of 6 years, and the show just started out as being a showcase of some of my work, and then I found this little thread that sort of went through them all, and then in the process, we've through the rehearsal process and whatnot, we have strengthened some of the binding fibers that sort of go through the show, and there's things that recur, and we have running gags and stuff like that. So,
Is that how you're setting yourself apart from other theatre companies?
well, I think the thing that sets us apart, there's that we're doing new work, and we want to do some more contemporary classics as well, sort of re-envisioned. But I grew up going to the theater with my parents and my family, so I wanted to create something that you could go and see your kids with. It wasn't necessarily children's theater, but my son's 5 and he's going to come and see it. So something that is fun for the whole family.
He'll be working the door, won't he?
That's right. I've got to put him
dear.
to work. 5 years
yeah,
old.
Dean seems to do that, right? Push you guys real hard and make everyone his slave.
Well,
Slave driver.
Be very careful what we say here. So, Tim, how's it going? I mean, you'll play several different roles, right? Is that a challenge, or?
So it's going really well. I've personally worked with Dean, I think maybe almost as long as anyone else in the cast. When our first short and sweet was, I think, was 2008.
Yeah. 2007, 2008, something like that. Yeah.
And
So
that-
you're used to his method of madness.
I'm certainly used to his
some degree.
his absolutely committed to the asylum
Yeah.
method of madness. But I mean, for example, the Joy of Solitude, which is one of the plays that I'm in with Paul Lucas, who's terrific in that as well. I mean, I've known those lines for 4 or 5 years, and so coming back and knowing the lines for one of the plays is a great advantage.
Yeah.
And then Dean has this. I was thinking about this the other day, just firming up lines for the other plays that I'm in, and I thought that they're very easy to learn. It's very easy because they're essentially, a lot of the plays are conversations between 2 people, and it's what you tend to find your character saying is a natural response to what the character's saying to you before that, and
That's
so
very
they're
kind,
they're
Tim.
very no, my
I
pleasure.
never thought you had such a high opinion of
They're
me.
very
He's shocked.
and the other great thing is they're sort of 7, 8, 10 minutes long as well. So they're literally, for want of a better term, short and sweet. And you're in, you're out. There's
Yeah. It's
No
a great,
dawdling. That
it's
sounds
a great
good.
show to see if you're not one that likes to sit through, a a 2-hour play to get to the, you know,
Because there are some lulls sometimes,
yeah, well, no,
right?
this is the thing, is they try to put 8 really good, you know, gems together, and hopefully there'll be something in there.
Are you
that,
concerned
like.
it'd be a bit too much, maybe?
Too much comedy?
Okay.
Too much laughing? I don't think there's ever enough comedy. But there are different types of comedy. Like one of the plays that's done really well, it's called I Can Tell Your Handbag Is Fake. And it's been performed all over the world. And I mean, it really is
How's that
a comedy
Christmassy?
of-
Because someone gave it to this person for Christmas.
You got
Hey?
it. You got it.
Yay.
That's one of the characters got her bag for Christmas. But yeah, it's really a comedy of manners. There's some dark comedy in there. There's some that just looks like it's absurdist comedy. There's a lot of situational type comedy in the show. So hopefully, because the plays are only around 10 minutes long, if you don't like it, heaven forbid, you only got to wait 10 minutes and there'll be
For the
another
next
one that
one.
come along. Yeah. So
Okay,
it's
help us-
theater for those with the short attention span.
We'll come back with Dean Lundquist, who's a playwright and director for Holiday in My Head, along with his cast, Tim Gardner and Z Wang. More in just a bit. Stay with us in the living room.
The Living Room on 938 Live. Time now to rejoin The Living Room on 938 Live.
Thanks for staying with us on the living room on 938 Live. We're chatting with Dean Lundquist, who's playwright and director for 8 plays in one. It's called Holiday in My Head at the Goodman Arts Centre. Curtains have gone up already. Tim Gardner's his cast member, along with Z Wang. Help us sort of wrap our heads around it. Will it be one after another? Will we know that the scene is changing?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be something else? Okay. So it's really 8 in 1.
And some great music intros and
Yeah.
outros as well,
Yeah,
which
it's
are
a lot of fun.
which are quite, they really set the mood, and they, you know, they're great bookends to the piece. And I think there's music for each intro and outro for each piece. And
I've talked to some performers of more, I suppose, linear, straightforward type pieces where it's just the one story for 2 hours, like Dean mentioned, and that's tough to do already. So why did you choose to jam 8 in? Bit of a masochist, are you, Dean?
Yeah, oh, I think all playwrights are masochists.
Are they?
Yeah.
I think it could have easily been 10 or 12 or 14 because Dean is a prolific. You know,
Might
you
one
took- you-
feel rushed while watching it, though?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah?
So, no.
No, I mean, each one of them has, you know, in terms of, you think of, classical play structure, they're all structured like, you know, they tell a story. It might be a very small story, or like, you know, the play where Z and Tim are in, it's called Finger Food. It's about, you know, the perspective of the play is from the point of view of an
hors d'oeuvre?
fork in a
Oh, fuck,
spoon.
okay.
And the way it came about, my wife and I were out one afternoon, and I saw somebody eating a donut with a knife and a fork, and I thought, man, I've never seen anybody eat a donut. So I thought maybe she doesn't want the cutlery to be out of work or something, and that gave me the idea for the play.
That sounds fascinating. So, I mean, these 8 stories must have a special place in your heart. Could you pick one? It'd be like picking your favorite kid.
Oh, God,
you
that's
reckon?
really hard to do. Well, I would say, yeah, I like them all, and they're all, you know, fun and wonderful, and they're each particular way. But I would say probably the play that I'm very proud of what it has done is The Joy of Solitude, the one that Tim alluded to earlier. We've done this play. This is the 3rd production of it, and I said to him in rehearsal after we read the play that it was like putting on an old shoe. It just felt so comfortable, and we'd done it together before, and yet we find different things in the play every time that we do it. So
It's interesting
fun,
because
yeah.
I'm 4 years older than I was when I first did it.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
it's a kind of an existentialist look on life when you sort of have an ultimatum placed in front of you, really.
Yeah.
And I'm getting older by the day. I'm about to turn
Does it-
30,
Yeah.
and so I understand. I understand that this idea of
The big 3-0,
mortality.
right? Does it
So
feel a
it's-
bit full circle for you, coming back 4 years later to say the words
You know,
that you did?
I think it's great, and full credit and commendation to Dean that he has shopped his plays around as a lot through Singapore, and they're being done around the world, and now here he is putting them onto the Drama Centre Black Box stage for wider audiences rather than audiences who just look for the festivals or who look for the small showcases
Right.
in the corner of the of the Esplanade.
Which is the other reason why I wanted to do this show, is because, as Tim said, a lot of my work has been done all over the world, and yet I haven't had a chance to get it on stage here in Singapore.
Yeah, this is your first, right?
Done other things that have been on stage, but it's my first show. That's
Right.
all. Yeah, so it's it's very much a dream project for me.
Sounding good. I want to talk a bit about, talk to Z for a wee bit. Tell us a bit
sure.
about your roles.
So I play a spoon. I also play
Cutting into that donut.
yeah, exactly. Well, not exactly watching woefully as the fork gets to do it, but no. I play the spoon. I also play a lady who has an LV handbag, and I also play a naughty elf. So that's a lot of fun. It's
Very
different.
diverse roles.
Very
How'd you get
different.
into the mindset of a bag?
Well, we're not playing the actual bag, but we're playing the people who own the bag.
Right.
And
Which
the
would be
whole-
very different from the mindset of a
Oh
spoon.
yes, very different. Like I can tell your handbag is fake. It's kind of set in a way like in Singapore
Yeah.
today. So it's very contemporary piece. Whereas finger food is very stylistic because it's about a pair of cutlery. So it's quite whimsical in that sense. And then playing the naughty elf, of course, is also very whimsical.
That
When
was
we
written,
say-
written for
yeah.
you.
When we say naughty,
Thank you.
it's slap on the wrist, naughty or naughty.
Oh, like naughty. No.
I didn't know that about elves.
Oh
did you?
man.
Yeah, so
Skimpy
it's a lot of
outfits.
fun.
Okay.
Elves are people too.
So how will we know when she's a spoon? Well, how will we know?
That's a good,
This
that's a
is-
good question.
there's-
You're gonna have to come and watch.
Dang
But
it,
I
no
should
one
just-
ever
I
gives
should
me
just-
the scoop.
Well, I should drop in that we've got a wonderful lady helping us with costumes for the show,
Yeah, Kim
and
Maxwell.
I think the costuming will be quite a fun thing for the audience.
Oh yeah.
To enjoy.
Oh yeah.
This-
We've seen the costumes. They're
Yeah,
pretty
finger
fun.
food has been done a lot. It's one of my most performed plays, and some productions go very literal, and they put a silver cardboard, fork tines
The
on
head.
Yeah.
But that's not the way we're going. We're very subtle, so that when you're reading it, or when you're viewing the play. If you don't know what it's about, it sort of creeps up on you. There's some mystery about.
Oh,
like,
she's a
who-
spoon.
Oh, she's a spoon. Oh, my God, he's a
That
spoon. Oh,
revelation would be great.
Yeah, that's what
when
we're-
you finally
that's what
get
we're
it.
going
Yeah.
for.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Subtlety, I suppose. So moving forward, what else can we expect from Asylum Theatre? I'm thinking, how do you top this? 20 plays into one, maybe.
Oh my God, that'd be a
Right?
lot.
Tim was saying you could easily jam in another few, and
I think
make it
Dean has
10
a
or 12.
lot of plays sitting in that proverbial desk drawer, like so many writers, right?
Or that proverbial padded room in his head.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. I could do another evening of short plays, or maybe not all of mine, or do some of mine. And there's a friend of mine, Alex Brune, who's a sort of the Shakespeare of the 10-minute play down in Australia. He was the one who talked me into doing this show years ago, and at the time I thought I didn't have enough material. And
No.
yeah, really. Well, the truth is, it's sort of an old cliche for writers, but I hate to write. I like to have written.
What? Okay.
But the process in itself is it's excoriating. It's like peeling my skin off.
Oh,
but
dear, pulling
anyway,
teeth.
yeah,
Back to all pleasant things.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
That's when we put him in the straitjacket when he starts ripping
That's
off his,
right.
ripping out
I'm
of the
probably
highlights.
more critical of my work than anybody else. So, but I mean, I would really love to do some. I'm working on it. Is to do this crazy musical called Ruthless, the musical, which is it's been around for about 20 years, but as far as I know, it's never been performed in Singapore, and it's about this young girl. She's the most talented kid in school, and she auditions for the school play. And because of one thing or another, she doesn't get the lead role. She's the understudy, and she kills the girl who gets the lead so she can go on. Which to me, I don't know why, there was something that seemed very Singaporean about this play.
Okay, I'm not sure if I should be insulted.
No. It's just because
That we're
Singaporeans
that
are so
determined.
driven and
Oh.
determined. I think that's a good thing to be. But.
So when the curtains go up, and how can we get our grubby paws on some tickets?
So yeah, the show opens on the 18th of September at the Drama Center Black Box. Tickets available on Cystic.
Holiday in My Head, Asylum Theatre presents. Curtains go up, 18th of September, Drama Centre Black Box. Tickets at cystic.com.sg. A big thank you to Dean, Z, and Tim for joining us today. Thanks for staying tuned to The Living Room, 938 Live.